What's up, Fungal Associates? Welcome to Completely Arbortrary. This is the podcast about trees and other related topics. The countdown to the hiatus. 3 more episodes to go, including this one. I'm Alex Crowson. That's Casey Clapp.
Hello.
Hi, Casey.
Hi, Alex. How are you?
I'm well, and I have some exciting news.
Okay, yes, tell us.
If you are listening to this on the day it comes out, which is March 12th, 2026.
March 12th, 3/12.
We appeared on an episode of another podcast.
Yes.
From the Oregonian called Peak Northwest. We're officially
Northwesterners.
Northwest.
We're officially Peak. Oh my God.
Completely Arbortrary is Peak Northwest.
We have done it, you guys. I feel like we've really made it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so go listen to it, you guys. It was such a lovely experience sitting down with those folks. Professional podcasters, to say the least.
Yes.
Supported by a local newspaper.
That's right.
And that's what I'm about.
Yeah, it's probably just Google Oregonian Peak Northwest, Completely Arbortrary, Casey Clapp, Alex Crowson.
I'm also going to put a link to Peak Northwest over in the show notes. So
there
you
you
can
go.
go over there and check it out.
That's easier.
Yeah.
Actually, that might be more difficult than just Googling.
yeah.
It's definitely more steps. So that was a fun talk. It flew by. By the time we were done, I was like, what the hell just happened? But it was a nice talk, and so go listen to us on there. And Casey, I know you have some other news as well.
Yeah, I sure do. So here's the thing, you guys. There's just no way around it. The administration of the United States right now is causing a shit ton of trouble. Now, we could probably sit here for the next hour and list all of the things that are going wrong, but we are a tree-focused podcast, so our comment needs to be tree-focused.
Okay.
There has been some action with the EPA, the endangerment clause. If you're not familiar, essentially, the administration said, now no longer are we going to say that pollution endangers us, specifically carbon dioxide.
Okay.
So they got rid of this thing for the EPA that was the entire legal basis for everything the EPA has done for pollution. So essentially, that's getting litigated. Don't worry about that. But that's one side of the coin of basically saying, the climate isn't changing and no one gives a shit, and we're going to focus on the things that we used to do 60, 80, 100 years ago, back when America was great. I'm saying that in quotes.
Yeah.
Because that is what all these huge companies want. They don't want to regulate themselves, and they don't want to give two shits about us. They just want to sell us gas guzzling cars that mean nothing and all this other stuff. Anyway, one side of that is they're getting rid of these the basis for regulation.
Okay.
The other side of that is they are going into land that historically has been protected for one reason or another, or has a management plan that limits what they can log because there's other things that we've prioritized over the years, the Endangered Species Act, water, and harvests, like all these different things that make a lot of sense that have been worked on over years and years and years with these big resource management plans.
Okay.
And right now, the federal government is proposing to revive the resource management plan for northwestern and coastal Oregon and southwestern Oregon in Washington and Oregon. And they essentially want to bring back the level of harvest of our forests on Bureau of Land Management land specifically. They want to bring back that harvest to pre-1970 levels.
Okay.
So back in the 60s, when we were just going into old growth forests and saying, cut every single thing that we can, giant clear cuts that caused a huge amount of destruction and killed absolutely thousands upon millions of trees, and then, of course, destroyed the forest ecosystems that were there to begin with. That basically stopped in the 80s and 90s because of the Endangered Species Act, the timber wars, and listing some native species like the spotted owl and the marbled murrelet as endangered. So those species are still listed as endangered, but now the land is getting kind of potentially that management plan is getting thrown out. So now they're going to be trying to cut down a lot more forests.
I see.
And basically say, now instead of doing anything else about anything else, we're going to cut, and we're going to sell all the land and all the trees and destroy a shit ton of really important habitat and forest here in the Pacific Northwest.
Okay.
That's what they want to do. I don't think I can, their lawyers will say, oh, well, we're reviewing, and that's not necessarily what we're going to do. Yes, it is. It's exactly what they're going to do.
Okay.
So there is an opportunity to comment and make a public comment on this proposed change, but it has to be done by March 23rd.
Okay.
So we got about 2 weeks. Go to the link, follow the instructions on how to make a comment, and then comment on this.
Great.
Because the more comments we can put out there, the more we can say, no, don't do this, keep this management plan for two reasons. One, it's a good management plan. The other reason is there's no, we can't go back. We destroyed our forests, and that's why we had such high timber volumes back then, because we were just cutting literally everything and destroying all this habitat and forest land. Now they're saying, let's go back and do more of that. Let's get back to levels that got us in this goddamn problem to begin with.
I see.
So go comment.
Okay.
It's very important that you do that.
And you can find that at arbitrarypod.com/podcast and then click on this week's episode.
Exactly.
Siberian
And that's
Stone
where you're
Pine.
going to find it. Last
right,
thing,
Casey.
Alex, we got merch on sale.
Oh, wow. What a 180.
What
Holy
a 180.
shit.
In order to do that, well, maybe, you know what? Let's just keep the transition in. It's perfect. While you're online, while you go to our website to click on the stuff to talk about all these important things in the government, go buy a t-shirt.
Yeah.
They're like 30% off right now.
Yeah.
So you can either buy a t-shirt that is 30% off, or you can purchase in a purchase way. Yeah, I couldn't think of a good way to say that. We got a pre-sale going on for all of the shirts that we ran out of inventory of. So if you want one of those, go buy it. And then we'll have those printed up and sent out to you by the end of April.
Wonderful.
So go do it.
And we are making our big order at the end of March, probably April 1, unless we're just fucking with you.
Get out of here, guy.
We'll send in our order on April 1, and then on April 2nd, be like, wasn't that hilarious? Anyway, we'd like to make an order.
Yeah. Thanks for the money. No shirts.
So get your pre-sales in before then.
Yeah.
Okay, Casey. Siberian Stone Pine.
We are talking about the Siberian Stone Pine.
Another 180. We're back. We're back where we started.
Man, we got some whiplash going today.
But we got to talk about it after a quick break. We'll be right back with Completely Arbitrary. Welcome back to Completely Arbitrary. Today we are talking the Siberian Stone Pine.
That's right, Alex. That's Pinus siberica. Isn't that easy?
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. And before we get started, Alex, I want to shout out one of our fungal associates, which is Otto Lukarinen.
Okay.
And if I pronounced your name wrong, Otto, I'm sorry.
What did Otto say?
Well, Otto said you guys should do the Siberian stone pine.
How about that?
Not only that, but Otto tried to send us some Siberian stone pine cones.
Wow.
But the governments of our respective nations said, no, you may not do that.
Well, Casey, thanks, Otto. And Casey, let's imagine that you and I are in Siberia.
Oh.
What is Siberia?
Well, Siberia is basically the northern section of Eurasia.
Okay.
More or less
It's a region. It's not a country.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
It is. It's now. It's technically a part of Russia, I would say, kind of in its most pure form.
Okay.
But the northern taiga forest is what that's called, like the boreal or area. That is the space that we would call Siberia. So it's a region kind of north and east in Russia. But I think anywhere just kind of in northern Russia is generally like moving towards Siberian.
Gotcha.
You know?
Okay, and let's imagine we're up there freezing our off. Excuse me.
Wow. Oh
Jesus.
my gosh. This got very violent.
And we're with some dogs.
Oh, okay.
Golden retrievers. Let's ID this tree.
You're in Siberia. You're pretty far north. You're hanging around. You see these huge trees, like tall forest trees, but also trees that kind of have an open shape to them, where you have a single stem that comes up, but then they also tend to have like ascending branches also that kind of grow up to create one or two kind of mainish leaders.
Interesting.
So kind of a tree that kind of grows like a normal conifer with that excurrent habit, but then also kind of decides as it gets older that it's going to change and become a little less excurrent. It's going to grow a little bit more bushier top.
That's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
I always love when trees start as one thing. Like anytime they new foliage is this type of needle, but then mature foliage is this type of needle.
Yes,
you know?
so they just change, they mature in a way.
Yeah.
The tree that you're seeing, of course, this is a Siberian stone pine, and they can get up to 130 feet tall, 100 feet generally in habitat.
Okay.
The biggest one ever, at least as far as records that I could find, put it at the tallest 160 feet with a diameter of 11 and a half feet.
wow.
Which is huge.
11 and a half feet. That was one of those instances where I thought you were going to say inches and you ended with feet. And I was like, oh my God.
Oh my God.
Gotta change my frame of reference here.
It's
That's an enormous tree.
Yeah, exactly. For those of you elsewhere in the world that's not the United States, 35 to 40 meters tall.
Incredible.
It's huge. And it just absolutely becomes a large, very legitimate forest tree.
Great.
So,
I'm liking this.
Yeah. It's a nice tree, especially because where's it growing? In like the far north, where everything gets really cold. The growing season is really small, so it takes its time to get up to that size, but it can do it.
Cool.
Now, the next thing you're going to see is the bark, and usually it's going to be like a palish, smooth gray color, brownish gray when it's young, but then it becomes a little bit more scaly, a little bit more fissured, and a little bit darker gray as the tree gets older. So it develops kind of a really nice pattern, I think. I really appreciate the bark. Again, as it matures, I think it becomes quite handsome.
Well, Casey, I've always I've always felt in my heart a little bit anti-gray bark.
Oh, really?
I don't know why.
Yeah. Well, what does this do for you?
I'm looking at this and I'm like, this looks good.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the landscape also. There's like some snow in the background.
Yeah.
So I just think like that steel gray looks really good.
Oh yeah, I think it's more like a touch of gray. So maybe you're like, oh well, this tree's it's got experience, but also it's youthful.
Oh, it's like a silver fox.
Exactly.
Cool.
It's actually directly from like Rogaine or something. That's literally their commercial.
I thought you were going to say it. It's because it's Siberian and there are Siberian foxes.
Oh, it's a Siberian gray fox.
Yes.
You can find them also in the local villages.
Yeah, great bark.
It's got great bark. I really like the bark. Now, the other thing is that the twigs, they actually start a little pubescent, a little like yellowish. Then they become glabrous and smooth with age, which is fun.
Interesting.
Yeah, I never really I like that. I just like that.
Okay.
So this is a pine in the white pine subgroup, which means it has needles in 5.
I knew this.
Yes, you did. How did you know that?
I just recalled, and I was going to try to get it in there before you said it to prove that I knew it.
Yeah.
But I thought you would trust me if I said, hey, I knew that.
I do trust you.
I guess I was thinking about a recent white pine, and that was kind of how I remembered white pine, five needle pine.
That's great work.
Yeah, thanks.
Well, there you go. Yeah, you did it. You absolutely crushed it. I trust that you did, at least.
Isn't that what this podcast is really about?
It really is.
Me.
Trust. Yeah, it is about you. You know what, Alex? Yes, it is about you. I'm just here to tell you about trees.
I love when things are about me.
Yeah.
Good things.
Yeah, let's end it there. So these little needles in 5 are about 2 to 4 inches long, and they are generally green, I'd say.
Casey, okay.
I'm looking at it.
Why do you kind of falter at that?
Yeah, because there is 2 stomatal lines on the insides of these leaves. But so we have to remember that all of the needles of pine trees, they essentially are like little pieces of a pie. You can like zip and kind of pull them all back together. And so on the outside,
I always think of the Trivial Pursuit.
Yes,
saying
that's exactly
that's
what
how
it is.
you described it to me. Yeah.
So on the triangle side, there's lines of stomatal bloom, like about 2 on either side. So on the inside, they're a little bit of a whitish color, a little bit lighter green.
Cool.
On the outside, they're green. So I was thinking through my brain, are these really green or are they kind of bluish green? And I was literally, you could see me looking at an imaginary needle, holding it in my fingers, looking at it as if I was like physically holding one.
Yeah.
I wasn't. So they're green needles in 5, and they have like the same little bunchiness that you can imagine with a white bark pine. They'll generally hold their needles for about 2 to 4 years. So it's not like the world's densest tree, but those little needles look, and the whole like, I don't know, twigginess of it look very similar to the white bark pine. Okay. And that is what I said, focus on.
Probably pretty related.
Oh, so closely related.
Really?
In fact, hold on, let me just look through here. I believe that these are so closely related that they are of a sister ship, where one species went over from the Eurasian continent to the North American continent.
Over that old strait.
Over ye old strait.
Cool.
But that also includes the Italian stone pine, Pinus sembra, the Korean stone pine, Pinus coriensis, and Pinus pumila, which is another kind of smaller version of this tree that grows up in that area as well.
A white pine for every season.
Exactly. Now, these are all known colloquially as the white pines. Now, the cone, as I noted before, looks really beautiful. And the thing that I love about it is that it looks just like a white bark pine, except it has a little bit more like striations on the individual cone scales, the ones that are kind of exposed. So it's the apophysis of the cone scale. And they've got little umbos right at the end. So it looks like little fingernails with a little bit of white, or maybe a white light gray dot right in the very middle at the end of the fingernail on these cones. If you go to the conifers.org database, you can go to our website and you can click on that little link for the tree. It has one of the most beautiful photos of this species that I just have ever seen. The cones are gorgeous.
Are these the juvenile cones?
No.
It says these are ripe cones, but they're not woody looking. They look like young larch cones or something.
They kind of do, yes. That's actually a really good description. They are 100% mature. They mature at the late summer of the second growing season, and they are maybe about 3 to 4 inches long.
Wow.
So they're a little bit bigger than the white bark pine. They mature to a nice dark purple.
Yes.
But then once they are kind of mature as that dark purple, then over the fall and winter, they start to become a little bit more brown. And then by the end of the next year, they probably have completely fallen off because they don't stay on the tree.
Interesting.
For very long. They end up falling off way sooner. They're not as tightly held as white bark pine.
So these and I'll call this like this color Concord grape.
Oh,
it's
yes.
like grape juice purple.
Yes, that's a great description.
Are these cones? These cones are ready. They have seeds in them. They're ready to drop them. They're like cones.
Yes, they are cones.
They're not still working on being cones.
Nope. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
They are not the kinds of cones that just open up their little cone scales and drop their seeds out.
They're not going to just give it out for nothing.
No, these are bird pines.
Okay.
Yeah, take that, baby.
Bird dependent.
These are bird dependent species.
Wow.
Like the white bark pine.
Oh yes. Wait a minute.
Come back to me, Alex. What do you have?
Does this Siberian stone pine have a Clark's Nutcracker equivalent?
Does it ever?
And by that, of course, I mean a bird species that it completely depends on for seed dispersal.
100% Nucifragia Caryocatacates.
Oh, Casey's speaking in tongues. He
Yes,
just
I
pulled out
am.
his snakes.
Yes, watch out, everyone. This is the Eurasian Nutcracker.
Okay.
Which is Nucifraga Caryocatactes.
We're used to tree Latin names.
It's honestly,
It is so different. Animals are so different.
I don't know why that's the case, but it totally is.
Yeah.
Like it's just harder for me to say the words.
I got really into big cats and the cat
did
family
you?
one night.
Whoa.
I was a little stoned.
No
and I laid in the
way.
bath and I was just on Wikipedia just following, like, I was just like looking at all these cat species. I was like, wow, there's so many of them.
This is amazing.
And the names were very hard to read.
Yes, they're really hard.
Yeah.
I am stunned on so many different levels here.
Well,
this really makes my day.
This is a beautiful little bird.
It really is. They're adorable, and they are very closely related. Same genus as the Clark's Nutcracker here in the West.
Wait, really? That's kind of incredible,
Isn't it?
This is like Parent Trap.
Yes.
Like, I have a twin. They grew up in Russia.
Yes.
But they're pretty much they look the same.
They look exactly the same, and they have a sister species that do exactly the same thing.
Crazy.
They are of a kin. They are super closely related. In fact, it's very likely that millions of years ago, maybe hundreds of thousands, a very long time ago, that this bird is what pulled over this species that we now know as white bark pine.
Whoa.
It's likely that these two things came from Eurasia and then speciated to their own thing over here in North America.
And the bird speciated to the Clark's Nutcracker?
Exactly.
That's fucking awesome.
Isn't that wild?
Wow.
Yes. So
This is honestly, have we ever discussed something like this? This is crazy.
well, not about that kind of speciation with the bird, but we have talked about the white bark pine and its close relationship, right?
Sure, but it's like a double speciation.
Yes, yeah, because they are so closely related. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I mean, you might think about that with the like the figs and fig wasps, where there's one
Sure.
species of wasp per species of fig
Yeah.
that does all the pollination, and if one goes extinct, the other goes extinct as well.
Yeah, I know. I guess I mean I know I know about that, but I'm talking about like they moved together.
Yes.
And then they both speciated.
You know,
into
I don't know
something
that we
else.
really have, but I'm sure that there's other examples that we could find out there.
Okay.
Where an animal moved a plant that it depended on. I mean, humans, obviously, that would be a great example. And then all those things kind of speciated together.
That's just so interesting.
Yeah, it's a fascinating little symbiosis, isn't it?
It is.
It is. Now, but here's the thing. We've already talked about that. This is old hat. Who cares?
Okay.
This seed from this little tree.
Yeah.
That is really the important thing for the bird, obviously, but also for people.
Oh.
It turns out that the seed of this species is so important to this bird species that it moved it across the Bering Land Bridge, probably, like I said, thousands or millions of years ago, and then spread it throughout the entire West. Oh. So, which came first, the tree or the bird? Like they had to have come fairly closely together.
Yeah.
But there's also different ideas of maybe this species came up from Mexico. Like there's a whole book about this that I highly recommend that everyone reads. But I'm just going to glance on it. It's called Made for Each Other, Symbiosis of Birds and Pines by Ronald Lanner. Highly recommend.
Wow.
Lovely book. So there's lots of different talk about like evolution between all these species, where the birds initially started and came from. But if we go back far enough, my guess is that these two things happened at one time.
Okay.
The bird and the pine moved together. If not, go read the book and he'll tell you about it. But here's the thing. People have also moved the cones and the seeds of this tree for thousands of years to the point where Otto sent me an email to say, you might find this interesting, and was telling me about the Finnish famine in the late 1800s, like the 1860s.
Wow. Okay.
Turns out that the Siberian stone pine was growing and having a perfectly happy life in Russia, northern Russia, and Siberia, right? And it was a known food for the people that lived there. So they would climb the tree, they would do whatever they needed to do, and they would get all the seeds, and they would really have a good time with it. They would eat it. They would not have to worry about food because the trees growing in their native natural habitat, very cold and very wet, very seasonal, they would end up getting these little seeds.
Okay.
So fast forward some years, Finland at the time was a part of Russia. And Finland in the 1860s went through this huge famine where essentially everything went wrong. Summers were really cold and rainy, so crops would rot in the ground. Then it was a really early frost, so even whatever did survive usually got beaten back by frost before the fruits in the harvest could be pulled in.
Wow.
So there ended up being something like 8.58% of the population of Finland in the 1860s died from famine.
9% roughly?
Yeah, between 8 and 9%.
Wow.
Yeah, which is like 250,000 people.
Damn.
Crazy, crazy intense thing.
Wow.
So that while that was happening, because this was a duchy of Russia, the Russian czar was like, well, maybe we should figure out how to solve this problem, make sure it doesn't happen again. So they ended up saying, well, all these people up here in the same kind of region, but in our country, they eat all these seeds, all these pine nuts.
Okay.
So they ended up shifting a bunch of trees over to Finland, and they started planting them there.
The same Siberian stone pine?
Same species.
Okay.
Their idea is that if you can let these trees grow, establish a little grove, then the trees get big, the trees start producing these seeds. Now you can avoid famine because people will be eating the seeds of this pine tree.
It's a fine idea.
Exactly. Before that, in this area, the only native pine that people were messing with was the Scots pine.
Okay.
Pinus sylvestris. You'll recall it grows basically everywhere across Eurasia.
Yes.
So the famine got so bad that they started to make bread with the interior cambium. They would strip the bark off of Scots pine, scrape the cambium, and then put that into a bread. And guess what? That bread is called petulapa.
A Finnish word or a Russian word?
That is Finnish.
Okay.
And it comes from the Finnish word for pine, which is petija.
Say it one more time.
It is petulapa. That is the bark bread that the Finnish people made in this time of famine.
Wow. Oh my God, it looks terrible.
I'm sure. I've read that it if you mix it with a little bit of barley and wheat, it will create a bread that's big but mostly lacks substance and causes quite a bit of stress to digest.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
It looks like a bagel, but it looks like a hardtack bagel.
Yes, I think that's a reasonable way to describe it.
I mean, it's famine food. What do you need?
Exactly, right?
Damn.
Now, if you also want to try it, Otto was so generous to give us a recipe.
No kidding.
Which will be posted on our show notes.
Okay,
as well.
fun.
Yeah. So who knows what it's going to taste like? Justin Davies makes bread with like all sorts of different flavors, and the last time he made one with pine, I think it was like pine sawdust.
Yeah.
He almost vomited. He was like, "This is legitimately awful."
Damn.
So maybe I'll send this over to him and see if he'll make some of this bread and just scrape some cambium off of a pine tree.
Dude, I guarantee you he'd be interested.
I think he would like that.
That'd be so awesome.
All right, I'll send it over to him and I'll say, "Hey, we got this from a listener, Mr. Otto."
And then I would love if he would send us some.
Yes.
To try.
I will ask.
Okay, cool.
Well, anyway. So,
I have a quick question about that, Casey.
Please, Alex.
You said they scrape off the cambium. I guess cambium has always been kind of confusing to me, and where I'm like, yeah, but what is it? What is it though?
Yeah.
Like I understand what it does and like where it is on a tree, but I guess I don't know if I stripped off bark and used a scraper to scrape off cambium, would it be like kind of a jelly consistency?
Exactly.
Really?
It's exactly what it is.
Okay,
yeah,
that's what I imagined.
A gelatin kind of feel.
Yeah. Okay.
And
kinda
so
like
you
a
can
gloopy sort of.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So it's like this this white gelatinous cell layer or layer of cells in between the wood, which is now the xylem, and the inner bark,
right,
which is the phloem.
Okay.
Yeah. So
there you have it.
Exactly that. So if you just get a big scraper and you just go shh, you can pull it off and it kind of develops into this little gelatinous blob.
Yeah.
And if you get enough of it, then you can turn that gelatinous blob into something. But many peoples have eaten this particular stuff, mostly from pine trees and other species of conifer, throughout the world in times of famine, but also just like, you need a little bit of nutrients to get through the wintertime, or actually not even winter. Usually it is the spring. So right now, this is when the harvest from last year is running low, and we haven't quite gotten to the point where the new things have started to grow for us to eat. So it's actually really late winter, really early spring, which is the time of most hunger if you're living in kind of this subsistence kind of way.
And that seems like maybe the time that the cambium is like really popping off.
Just starts to get going.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So happens
because it's moving those nutrients up and down. Okay,
exactly.
Great. Wow.
Yeah. So it is still a famine food, but in the very traditional sense, not like the other species where we've heard it be called a famine food, but relating to Europeans in, say, the United States or in North America, where the native peoples would be eating stuff during this time because that's what they do every year.
Yeah.
They know how to manage it, right? They eat a certain amount so they don't get sick, but it gives them the nutrients they need, but they everything's kind of a little bit more in balance over the course of a year, versus the Europeans would come over and be like, well, they're eating the interior bark of these trees. They must be dying of hunger.
Sure.
It's like, well, no, that's just what they do. That's just what people do. They have a different eating style than you.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Interesting.
In this case, in particular, in Northern Europe during this time, explicitly a famine food because they normally wouldn't eat it. They had other things they would eat.
Okay.
Now, here's another fun thing that I learned that I did not know about this tree, which makes me think that it has special powers. I don't know if I would subscribe to what I'm about to tell you, but I like the kind of basis of it.
Hit me.
So, this tree has been like the sole thing for a bird species for a really long time, like millions of years, right? They've evolved together. They are in symbiosis. They are symbiotes. Then people said, oh, that looks tasty. I'm going to eat those too. And in fact, as a quick side note, if people are like climbing or like adjusting, moving trees around, like shaking them to get the cones and seeds to fall, the birds will see that commotion, fly over and be like, the fuck you are. And they'll start eating and try to cache all the seeds. So they just offer competition to the humans, which I think is hilarious.
It's like dumping a bag of popcorn in the middle of Times Square and just watching the pigeons go crazy.
Yeah, exactly. While you too are trying to pick up that popcorn and eat it.
That's my popcorn.
Yeah. Why'd you dump it out then, you idiot?
That's so funny. Wow.
Yeah. So it's important also to these people, so much so that the government of Russia at the time, for, whatever purposes, said, we need to go plant this over here as a staple food. But also some people say, well, they also were just seeing if it economically would work in that area.
Sure.
I think that's a little bit of a, you can look at it either way.
Mm-hmm.
So this tree became wildly important for basically everyone in the north of Eurasia, because they're like, this is a great food source and it's a tough tree. And of course, it's really important for just culture in that area because of these things. So there's a book series, Alex, that came out first in 1996. I think there's 4 or 5 books that came out through 2002. And it's called The Ringing Cedars of Russia.
Wow.
And this ended up kind of creating a bit of a sensation.
Wow.
Now,
Casey looks so mischievous right now.
I am mischievous, sir.
Like he has a
Never
secret.
forget it. So, in Russia, the term for this is cater. So, this is a quick little thing. They call it the Sibirski keter. I think it's so much. I just don't know why, but that name tickles me.
What are they calling the Sibirski keter?
Keter that's the name of our tree. Instead of Siberian pine, they call it the Sibirski keter.
It's like Siberian cedar.
Exactly. They call it Siberian cedar.
Okay.
So this tree in Russia is not known as pine, but as a cedar.
Oh.
So the name of this book, The Ringing Cedars,
Yeah.
is about this particular species of tree.
Interesting.
And there is this this guy, his last name's Meager, who wrote these books, and he basically said that in the books, the synopsis is that he, the author, goes up to Siberia and ends up meeting this kind of, I don't want to say demigod, but like this mystical figure that has lived for like a really long time, speaks every language, never gets sick, and can like use telepathy to like communicate, and telekinesis, and can like use her brain just to solve whatever issue, solve your health, heal you.
A Tom Bombadil sort.
Yes, very similar. So
Okay.
a wizardry
But a healer,
character.
yeah.
Yes, her name is Anastasia.
Oh,
Beautiful.
nice.
So Anastasia is the kind of character that this author goes up and meets. And then she has this plot of land that she lives on. This little family estate is how it's transcribed or translated.
Okay.
And she lives there, and she says, everyone should live like this. I revere this particular pine tree because of its spiritual powers, I guess you could say, where she's not a god, and this tree is not a sacred tree, but it is also a sacred tree. So I don't really understand how they're like, oh, no, it's not sacred, but it is.
It's like culturally sacred, but not like religiously sacred,
Yes.
spiritually sacred.
Exactly. So here's what Meager writes about it. God created the cedar as an accumulator of energies of the cosmos.
Jesus.
The cedar receives the energy emanating from man through the cosmos, stores it, and gives it back at the right moment.
Okay. Say that second one again.
The cedar receives the energy emanating from man through the cosmos, stores it, and gives it back at the right moment.
This tree made its seeds in our image. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, maybe.
We give energy to the cosmos, which gives that energy to the tree, which gives it back to us through the seeds.
I think it's something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if it seems, though, because this is energies of the cosmos. So I don't know, like, if man creates the energy and it goes out to the cosmos and comes back, or if the cosmos gives energy through man and then it goes through there. So it's dubious. I read a big paper about it, and they were talking about it in terms of, like, folklore and ancient versus modern traditions, which we would see as something like a super religious conservative group that says we need to go back and live off the land in the ways that we used to in the 1,000 years ago, something like that. Like,
make Siberia great again.
Exactly. It's like hearkening back to this golden era of the Siberian, upper old Russia kind of thing. Like going all the way back to like the Vedic kind of tradition, like the ancient indigenous people of this area.
Interesting.
So it turns out, Alex, that this book, which is just a novel, like this guy just kind of made it up, and he just wrote this thing and kind of said, hey, here's this idea. That got taken as not necessarily real, but as an ideal.
Interesting.
And people have now turned it into a modern religion.
Oh my God.
A new spiritual way of seeing the world and trying to get back to this golden area, this golden time.
Wow.
Using these kind of ideas that Anastasia brought up.
Okay.
That is, you need to own 1 hectare of land, and that's 100 meters by 100 meters. And you need to have a pond. You need to grow a bunch of trees, and then of course you make your house, and you live off of that 100 hectares.
Sounds nice.
Sounds nice.
Anastasia was a trad wife.
Anastasia was absolutely a trad wife who could also like speak every language and probably do a lot of really cool magic shit. So here is their philosophy. It's very close to the global contemporary spiritual ideas, kind of like New Age spiritualism from the 90s and 2000s, like let's get back to the land, like very much in the realm of, I think, RFK, where he's like, none of these other modern scientific ideas.
Do it in his voice. Come on.
I can't. I don't even know how. I don't even fucking know how. I am not good enough to do that. My voice acting is poor.
That's okay. Go ahead.
So basically, it's grounded in this like post-Soviet milieu, and this is from an article that we have posted on our site, which is called "Traditions and the Imagined Past in Russian Anastasian Intentional Communities."
Amazing.
So this is the philosophy that is described in this article.
Okay, let's hear it.
It emphasizes
You tell me each point, and I'll say how good it sounds to me.
Okay.
And how close I'm getting to becoming an Anastasiast.
Yes, I know. And here's the thing. I feel like I am too until.
Oh, boy.
It emphasizes such concepts as healthy lifestyle.
Okay.
Okay. The holistic relationship between word and deed, which means just don't lie. If you say you're going to do something, do it.
That's like the 4 agreements. Be honor or be impeccable with your word.
Oh, I did not know that. Yeah,
which also means your thoughts.
There you go. I'm sure that this counts because, of course, if she can speak every language, Anastasia, she can probably also read your mind. So, like,
true.
Watch your shit.
Okay.
Healing practices and
yes.
self-help therapy.
Come on now.
These are the big things, okay?
That's what I'm all about.
It's what I'm all about, too. The Anastasians have been seeking a sustainable future, which they imagine as an anti-technocratic, spiritual, and conscious way of life that is close to nature and the earth.
Beautiful.
Very beautiful. One of the Anastasians' main aims is to raise, quote, awareness, which I'm going to try to pronounce this, Azanznananst.
Okay.
I don't know how to speak Russian, but
okay.
That's my best. I'm just going to try it once, and that's it.
And what is that?
Awareness.
Awareness.
So
okay.
I have a feeling that there's probably something lost in translation, of what that exactly means.
Sure, mindfulness.
Exactly,
okay.
like awareness, mindfulness, be close to nature, but also see it and understand it, and be aware of all the small nuances. Don't just barrel through, right?
Sure, yeah.
And so this is a main aim to raise awareness of ethical issues, asceticism, empathy, and development of supernatural abilities such as lucid dreams, teleportation, and telepathy.
You almost had us.
I almost had you. No.
Okay.
I love that. I took that entire quote from this article because I think it's so funny that everything's like, yes, absolutely, absolutely. It was like, all right, we're going to grow our own crops. We're going to be mindful. We're going to care about our neighbor. We're going to be paying attention to what we say and how we do it.
Yeah.
And we're also going to try to teleport. Sorry, what?
Thank you, everybody. Good night.
What did you say? No more questions. No more questions. But I can read your mind, so be careful. Yeah. So first off,
okay.
Big red flag there at the end.
Sure.
But here's the other big red flag that I found in a Vice article from the, when was this actually? I'm not sure when this Vice article came out. 2022, the year of our Lord.
Okay.
And this is some people that are in East Germany, Brandenburg, and there's just outside in this little tiny community, and they ended up having this like strange crew of people just start like working over here, and they kind of started looking at it and like, what exactly is going on? And it is the Anastasia movement that has moved into Germany, but it's more or less like a right-wing back to the land movement. That's what they say in this this Vice article.
Okay, what about it is right wing?
Well, I think when you said tradwife is getting a little bit to it. My guess is that it has quite a bit to do with we're going back to the indigenous culture, which was white. That was a white culture right here in Germany, in Upper Russia. So that's what we're going back to.
I see.
They also like dress very, very much from another century. So do you know like in the United States there are different religions that kind of almost require like this kind of modesty in how the people dress.
Mormon underpants?
Okay, what the hell is a Mormon underpant?
I don't know if this is real or not. I think it is. Mormons have some sort of special underwear.
No way. So it turns out that essentially what this this movement kind of has been distilled down to in this German settlement in particular is a combination of like a hippie rural style of living.
Yeah.
Like, let's get back to the land. Peace be with you. Like, all right, cool, bro. With like far right, like sentiment. In a way that, in this article, basically says Germans are like, I'm a little bit worried about this. And, you know, ever since we happen to know now that right-wing movements in Europe have been getting a lot more steam. And there is some that I found in, what is it, Channel 5 News with Andrew
Callahan.
Yeah, Callahan, which everyone go watch. Like, he just does really good work. And also he's very like, just let's go get it on the ground. I really appreciate the way he goes about his work.
Very
And
brave journalist.
so, yeah, very brave. But also, he got famous with, what is it, All Gas, No Brakes.
Yeah.
He hitchhiked across the United States and, like, took videos of it and, like, interviewed all these crazy people.
Yeah.
Like, a really interesting guy. He's also from Seattle, so he's like, you know, what's up?
Cool.
But very much clear-eyed about the world and is willing to go talk to people about it. And he talked to this group, Alex, of white people who lived in these intentional communities in Kansas, maybe somewhere in the kind of Midwest, East Coast kind of space. And basically, they are creating this like back to the land, very traditional lifestyle. But the traditional lifestyle is a European traditional lifestyle with European heritage. And European heritage is really just a dog whistle for white supremacy.
Yes.
So that is like kind
Interesting.
of, that's what this is kind of like drawing this line. So this is this Anastasia movement, and they center these trees, Alex. We're still talking about trees.
Oh, no.
So the trees, these ringing cedars,
Yeah.
they will grow, and once they start getting a certain amount of like cosmic power, cosmic force in them, they start to ring. They start to literally vibrate, make a little sound. And then you have to cut them down to release that energy before the tree itself starts to just release that energy, and then it dies at the end of it.
Wow.
So the irony is here, to save the tree, you have to cut it down.
Sure.
Which I don't really understand in terms of their logistics. That seems like a big hole.
But there's like a push your luck mechanic. Like, see how hard you can get it vibrating before it goes crazy
I guess so.
to maximize the release of energy.
Yes, exactly. But then
Okay.
you're still killing the tree by cutting it down.
Yeah.
So you're not saving a tree. Yeah, I literally read that the idea is that they're saving the tree by cutting it down, which I'm like, that doesn't make any sense.
It feels very religious, though.
It does, right?
Like,
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense.
You know, that too, yeah.
Yeah. So these trees are like a central part of this religion. Which
Wow.
is brand new and kind of coming out of this like certain zeitgeist of the 90s that is like really kind of like of the era. Do you remember, what is it, like Waco, Texas, like all these religious crazy groups that really started to like take over and become these little cult areas throughout Texas and the West, all over the place. Here in Oregon, we had the Rajneeshi. Right? I think that's predated the 90s and things. So it became like this wild, like, it's of the era to have this religion that's still kind of popping up all over the place that kind of harkens back to the good old days with a little bit of a bit of a
modern twist.
Yes, a modern twist, which is, you know, neopopulism and neo-Nazism.
Oh, fuck. So, but let me get something straight here. The original novel was from 1860, you said?
No. That was when the trees were being planted in Finland, which is the story that Otto brought up to me that I was really interested in.
Okay.
The book came out in 1996.
Oh, so the book... Okay, the book immediately then was like a religious sensation.
Yes, like this all started in the early 2000s, late 90s when people like,
oh, wow.
I think it's been translated to like many different languages, like I think 24 languages or something. And it has been like I think 20 million copies or something has been sold of these books in Russia.
I want to hear what the author has to say about all this.
Yeah, right. I don't know. I don't know what he thinks or where he's at. I don't even know if he's still alive, personally.
Yeah.
Yeah, because mostly I was reading about the tree and like this new kind of religion with this like strange beginnings. But you know what, Alex? This has happened before. Think of Scientology.
Of course I was thinking of Scientology.
Yes.
You wrote like a sci-fi book.
Literally.
Which became a fucking scam.
Yeah.
Not a religion. But a scam.
Yeah, well, it's where's the line?
Two sides of the same coin, really.
Yeah.
Depends on what side you're looking at it from.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I just kind of like this is not new. It's not unique. It's not even like something that happens elsewhere. It happens right here in the United States. It happens all over the world.
Seems like a good money-making scheme.
It does. The one thing that I can support with it, Alex, is it's based around a tree.
Yeah.
I like trees.
That's as far as your interest goes.
Oh, well, no, I would love to have telepathy. So I'm working on that.
Well, here's the thing. Why don't we just create a new denomination of Anastasianism?
Oh, I love this.
And it just does not include the white nationalist stuff.
Yes, exactly. Which I don't know I don't think that's a tenet. I think that just has developed over time.
Sure, okay.
It happens to be that the people who are Anastasians also tend to be white supremacists, at least in some places. It's not all over the place. I don't want to paint with a broad stroke here.
Well, maybe
it's just this particular group that has got the Germans worried.
Sure.
The Germans are worried. I'm worried.
They know white supremacy, those Germans. They've seen
they
seen the end game of white supremacy.
And they are a people that I have spent time with. I love the Germans, and I really trust like a lot of their cultural don't fuck with that. We're not going down that path again.
Yeah.
So I think that you're exactly right, Alex.
Interesting. We should just maybe if we get rid of the telepathy. Maybe that's what these white supremacists are interested in. Really,
what they want to do. They just want to read your mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that, or if we just say, okay, that's one religious book, the Ringing Cedars. The other one is Braiding Sweetgrass.
Sure, yeah.
Like add in the ideals that Robin Wall Kimmerer brings in about reciprocity and like living off the land in the Ojibwe fashion, which of course there's lots of different traditions in that realm too, across the United States, across the world. But this is one kind of almost, I don't know, old style, traditional indigenous ideal that these people are working towards. And one of the biggest things that I have trouble with is go on a whole nother tangent about this, is when us here in the United States try to make that happen in the United States, when all of those religious, like almost pagan ideals before Christianity in Europe and in northwestern Russia, they all had their own indigenous ways of living in their own land. We then have moved Europeans over to North America, and we've tried to do the same thing when really there was a North American tradition, every other block that was across the entire country back then. So I really don't think that we should be focusing on bringing these European traditions to an American landscape.
Yeah.
Obviously we've completely changed everything to be European as hell in the United States.
Yeah.
But I don't know that going for that tradition is the right thing. But here's the rub, Alex, is that we don't necessarily, I don't think it's fair for us to co-opt the traditions of the people who are already here, because we kind of destroyed everything that they have.
Yeah.
So it can't be like, well, you know what I'm going to do now? I'm going to go just take the Ojibwe idea and I'm going to go institute that. Kind of feels like a bit of appropriation.
Of course, yeah.
So we got to be able to find this medium between, where we can say, okay, well, let's like, how can we live with this land in this way without being a shithead and a white supremacist? I think there's a way to do it.
We will eventually figure out the world's problems, Casey, but for now, we got to take a break.
Oh.
And you got to listen to a McDonald's ad made with AI. What a nightmare.
Oh, jeez.
All right, we'll be right back with our review of the Siberian stone pine here in Completely Arbortrary. Welcome back. Siberian stone pine. Let's give it a review, Casey.
Let's do it.
And a rating. Why not?
All right. I'm into it.
Here's how it works. We're going to have some final thoughts on this tree. And give it a rating of 0 to 10 golden cones of honor. Casey, as a resident expert, we'll begin with you.
Let's do it. Okay, so here's the idea. I think this tree rocks. I think it rocks because it essentially is a white bark pine that's like, you know what? I'm actually just going to grow in the forest. I'm not going to do all this on the top of a mountain as a little hermit kind of idea.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go for it. So I like that tree grows as a giant forest tree and it becomes a substantial piece of a whole area. I also just love that it has, all this like really interesting kind of like cultural things, both in the real life world where there is this actual like, let's plant this tree to save people from dying in a very literal, real sense. But then there's also this, let's save ourselves from dying in an existential sense by revering this tree and doing, making it the center of our lives. I think that's kind of a interesting idea. And then there's also this bird who's just flying around being like, yeah, I'm just going to eat these seeds. Don't worry about it.
Bird's doing the same thing.
Get out of my way. It is the tree of life for this bird.
Yeah.
So I think that I am going to give our beautiful and lovely Siberian Kiter.
Very nice.
I'm going to give it 8.3.
Wow.
Yeah, 8.3 out of 10 GCs of H.
Nice.
Yeah, that's what I think.
All right, Casey.
That's what I think.
That's what
just said
stink.
say and think at the same time, which said sink. What do you think, Alex?
Well, as so often is the case, maybe it's not that often, but I really feel it when it happens. When we introduce a tree, we talk about a tree. Oh, it's a beautiful tree. And I'm like, wow, this tree's great. What a beautiful, awesome tree. It gives so much, takes nothing. And then it's like, oh, but racists love it, and oh fuck.
Well, don't paint with a broad stroke,
or like
sir.
they use it to build a bunch of naval ships that won a war.
Okay.
So I'm like, I just hate. I guess I hate when the beauty of a tree is tainted by the ugliness of human deeds.
Oh wow, that was.
Does that make sense?
It does. It does make sense. I do have a counter though that I would propose.
I think. Well, what is it?
My counter would be just because someone uses it for this should not mean that it now is defined by that. So
Totally.
An example would be white supremacist guy over here really loves raspberry muffins with oats. So does that ruin the raspberry muffin with oats? Or can we just say, yeah, fuck that guy. These are still delicious though.
I know.
You know what I mean?
I know. Yeah, I totally get that. I don't know. It's I want to separate the art from the artist.
Oh,
you
yes.
know?
Okay.
And be like,
okay.
this tree is amazing, and I'm just looking at this tree not as like this tool used by humans for nefarious purposes.
Yes. Yeah. Well, then I say focus on the Finnish side of the story, not the Anastasia side of the story.
Okay.
Where it's planted as a crop tree now, where they specifically are planting it to get the seeds, so that they can avoid famine in the future.
Okay, then great.
Okay.
I'll focus on that. Although I have to say about is it Anastasianism?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, that it sounds pretty great.
Yeah, it does.
It's unfortunate that it's been co-opted. But for the tree, wow, the bark is the first gray bark I've ever seen. And
The
been like,
first
that's
bark,
nice.
that you're just like, this is utility bark, but in a way that gets me going.
Yeah, I'm not a bark guy anyway, and so if I notice the bark, I'm like, oh, that's nice bark.
Yeah, I'm a bark
That
guy.
really means something. I know you are.
I like big barks on a candy.
Go ahead, sing the rest of the song.
I will not.
And I love this little bird. Such an adorable little bird with a long beak to get those seeds inside that cone. The form, I think, is okay. I think it's kind of neat that it changes over time.
Yeah.
Just kind of like it grows into itself.
Totally, yeah.
So that's fun. So I'm going to give this Siberian stone pine.
Siberian Kiter.
Siberian Kiter. I'm going to give it 7.35.
7.35. What an interesting score.
That's just kind of what I'm feeling.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever you're feeling is what I want to hear.
My Russian cones are my own.
Your Russian cones are your own, each one stacked right inside of the other.
Very nice, Casey.
Thank you.
Casey, that was our review of the Siberian stone pine. It's time for a game.
Let's do it, Alex. I'm excited.
And this one is called 5 If by Tree.
I'm sorry, what?
5 If by Tree.
Okay, all right, never mind.
Casey, here's how it works.
Okay.
I am going to give you a tree term. You are going to explain that tree term clearly and concisely in 5 words.
5 words? 5 words.
Yeah.
Or less. Or does it have to be 5 words?
Exactly 5 words.
Shit.
It's not called 5 or less if by tree.
That is true. It's not called that. They knew it when they named it. Okay.
Okay, here's your first term.
I'm ready.
Alternately arranged buds.
Alternately arranged buds. Okay. I'm just gonna shoot. I'm gonna go for it. Okay.
By the way, you can't use any of the words in this term in your explanation.
I can't?
Of course, you could just be like,
oh my God. I could just say alternately arranged buds.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. This is nodes are spiraled, not opposite.
Great.
Done.
Nice job.
That's it. Oh, it's not always spiraled, but it's spiraled enough.
I think that was great.
I think it counts as a spiral if you connect it and you're going around. I almost tried to use the term phyllotaxis, and I decided too much, Casey.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
There's no, imaginary person you're explaining this to, so you don't have to,
you
dumb
are,
it down.
You are my imaginary person.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am.
Alex isn't real.
I've gained consciousness.
Yeah, what if I just, go back and listen to every single episode, and it turns out I'm just doing, a Tyler Durden narrator situation, where I have been talking to myself and creating this. Everyone's like, dude, Alex is such a funny character. I'm like, yeah, he is.
All right, ready for your next one?
Okay, I'm ready for my next one.
Pinnately compound leaves.
Oh, geez. Like a feather, leaflets grow.
Beautiful.
Yes.
You're on a roll now.
I'm on a roll, man. I love me a haiku.
That was great.
This isn't quite a haiku, but it's almost close to a haiku.
Your next one, parenchyma cells.
Oh, the cells of all trades.
Now, you use the word cells.
Oh,
That's
shoot.
not allowed in the rules.
All right. Why did you say parenchyma cells, Alex? You're ruining everything.
I guess I should have said parenchyma.
Okay, but because you didn't, I'm going to do this. Okay, it's not organ,
You know what? I will give this one to you because I did type out parenchyma, and then I was like, I just want to put cells next to it so that I can be clear with myself.
Oh.
So it might as well have said parenchyma. Okay. I'm going to allow that.
Okay,
and say it one more time.
The cells of all trades.
The cells of all trades.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Because they can do literally anything, in my assessment, which is, I'm a professional dendrologist.
All right, next term.
Okay.
Poem.
It's an apple, you dummy.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's kind of like, I wanted to say it's the economy, stupid, but
sure.
It's an apple, stupid. That's only 4.
You stupid?
Yeah, okay, yeah. But I also couldn't say it is. That also sounds just as nonsensical.
Now, I'm going to push back a little bit on this one.
Ooh, okay, all right.
Because a poem is not an apple, but an apple is a poem.
I see what you're
saying.
saying.
You need to define poem.
I needed to get to poem. I need to get to the heart of it.
Yes.
Okay. Stem tissue around the ovary.
Perfect.
Yes.
Nice.
I'm going to stick with that.
Great.
That's a good one. That's fairly good.
That's much better than your last one.
Okay, well, thank you. I appreciate that.
No problem.
But I do like a definition that just says it's an apple, you idiot.
Yeah, that is good. That is good for humor, but not for science.
It is. That is true. Which, why do they always have to be so mutually exclusive?
That's a great thing about completely arbitrary. We combine the two.
Yeah, we do. We are the translators.
Wow. Last term, Casey.
Okay.
Gymnosperms.
Naked seed producing plants. Does that count? Can I do that?
I'll give it to you.
Yes.
Nice job.
The definition of this one has HMHMMM in it. Or maybe, no, get rid of the first H. It's just MHMMM.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there we go.
All right, Casey, that was 5 if by tree.
I love that. I love making little haiku things like that and just thinking of the punchiest little ways to describe something.
I know you do. That's why I made the game that way.
I really appreciate it. Man, you made that game for me, Alex?
Yeah. We've done it before, I think. Once before.
I think so. I do recall that.
Casey, it's time for our completely arbitrary AMA.
Let's do it.
If you want to ask a question on the podcast, become a Tree member, arbitrarypod.supercast.com.
You also get cones if you join the Cone Club. I just sent out the cones as of 2 days ago.
Yes.
If you're listening to this when it comes out, for the year. We are back on track, ladies and gentlemen.
Very nice.
We got our cones back.
Hell yeah.
Man, the last couple months, everything just that could go wrong went wrong, and now we're back. It's set up. I'm stoked about it.
Casey wasn't looking at me when he said that, but it was a big part of it was my fault.
Well, we all grow.
Yeah, we all make mistakes.
We all get better.
Over and over and over and over for 5 years.
You have not been making mistakes for over and over and over for 5 years. Everything went wrong. You are not the only part of that. The printer went down. The shipment got sent in the wrong way. Like all sorts of stuff got messed up.
Okay.
That is okay.
Okay.
Do not hold too much of a burden on your shoulders, sir.
Okay, I forgive myself.
Great.
All right. This week we have a question from Heather.
Hi, Heather.
Heather says, "Hey, Alex and Casey.
Hello.
I love the pod, and I can't wait to hear all about your next adventures.
Oh, I can't wait to tell you.
I live in Florida, and citrus is a big deal here.
Yeah, it is.
I've been adjacent to the citrus industry here my whole life, and I still find some of it confusing. Now, Heather posted a slew of questions. I'm going to read them back to back.
Okay.
Most citrus aren't real. They're just a hybrid of other Asian citrus trees. But there are native Florida citrus trees. What do you call the non-native trees I find in the woods? I call them feral because they're not quite invasive, just the remnant of an old grove. But is there a true term for that? If most citrus is from Asia, why does the Asian citrus psyllid, which is a bug, F them up so bad?
Ooh.
Sorry, that's a lot. One last thing. Will Casey be coming to Florida during his tree travels? And will he be doing any public appearances? Thanks, Heather.
This is a wonderful question. Okay, so, give it to me from the beginning one more time.
Okay.
Don't go rapid fire. Just read them one at a time.
Most citrus aren't real.
Citrus are real. They exist. When you have an orange, that is a real physical thing that you're eating. This is not telepathy, so they are real.
Okay.
Next question.
They're just a hybrid of other Asian citrus trees?
Ah, now I see what you were saying. They are. So most of the things that we are eating, remember, they're on that triangle of citrus. Do you remember?
Right,
you remember when we talked about that, Alex?
And what are the 3 points of the the 3 angles, the 3 real true citrus, Casey?
Yeah, the 3 real ones.
They're ones you wouldn't assume, I think.
Yes, because we don't really eat them. We only eat their hybrids. So true mandarins, that is Citrus reticulata, then pomelos, which is Citrus maxima, and then the citrones, which is Citrus medicia. Medicia? Medica.
Well, this is me learning that the genus name for citrus is citrus.
It is really easy, right?
Cool.
That's a great one. Yes, so all of those are the real species that exist in the world, unmolested by humans and other things.
Okay.
So as you go between the pomelos and the mandarins, you'll get sweet oranges and you'll get grapefruits. As you go between pomelos and citrons, you get this is the hybrid ferny lemon, but you also get limes and a couple other weird lemons. As you go between citrones and true mandarins, you can get the Volkamer lemon and then the Rempior line, the Milan lemon, and all these other different things. Myers lemon, the famous, and other lemons that we just call lemons, those are almost kind of near the center. So there's probably hybrids between all these different corners, but in different kind of relations.
Cool.
And that creates all these other weird guys.
Okay.
So they are all hybrids of actual real plants that exist, but we don't eat those real plants for the most part because they're either too small, too sour, too this or that. So the hybrids make some amount of in-between that makes it palatable for us.
Okay.
Or, sellable maybe both.
Yeah, interesting. Next question, but there are native Florida citrus trees?
There are no native citrus to North America.
Are they all from Asia?
They are all from essentially Asia. So South Asia, East Asia, Southeast Asia, Melanesia, and Australia.
That's a new one to me. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So they're essentially from that kind of tropical side of the world around the Pacific.
I can think of one citrus that's native to North America, but it's a bit of a cheeky answer.
Oh, what do you got?
The Osage orange.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Well done.
Gotcha.
Kind of.
Hey. What do you call the non-native trees I find in the woods? I call them feral because they're not quite invasive, just the remnant of an old grove. But is there a real term for that?
That is not. That is the term. Feral is actually a very, very commonly used term for old orchard trees that have just kind of gone wild.
Okay.
Now, when I say go wild, it's not like an animal where you leave a dog out and the dog kind of just goes out and becomes a wild dog.
Finds a pack of wolves to hang out with.
Exactly. Or like a cat that lives on its own, in this area, just eats mice and has nothing to do with people, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Those are like animals that have become feral. But the population itself kind of becomes feral. So you have the offspring of a house cat that is just kind of runs away. They become a feral population. Okay. Pigs is a very good example also in the United States, or hogs, feral hogs.
Hawaii.
Yes, exactly. Chickens in Hawaii as well.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That was so fun.
They are so gorgeous, though. They are super. They're just wildly colored, like birds. It's really great.
Everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. But those are technically from like Southeast Asia as well. So those like forest fowl, those are what we now have as chickens.
Okay.
Anyway, so with trees, with orchards that go feral, those are essentially trees that in some cases may like produce fruit like apples. Their fruit kind of slowly but surely becomes a little bit smaller over time. How this happens, I really truly don't know.
Interesting.
But my guess is that it's the offspring from the apples that start to grow, and then they, with all their crazy heterozygosity, become different size, weirder apples. And you get essentially a little population of apples that kind of creates a little tiny like orchard-ish kind of space, when really it's not a true orchard. It's just the orchard hasn't been maintained, so all these little seedlings start popping up all over the place and they become weird and gross and no one eats them.
Interesting.
So with Florida, citrus, I don't think. Now I'm going through my brain.
Uh-oh.
Okay. I don't believe that there are like seeds from these our big orchard species, because most of them don't have seeds to begin with, right? They don't just fall on the ground and then just bloop become a new tree. You would have an old citrus tree, an old, orange tree growing in an area. Then if you forget about that orchard, the rest of the forest starts growing in around it, and now you have what essentially is a forest with weird individual orange trees growing in it. But that is because the forest moved into the old orchard once the orchard was no longer maintained.
It's like a hybrid forest.
Exactly. So that's like the kind of interesting way to say it's a feral tree. The tree itself isn't necessarily changing, but the area that it's growing in is changing.
Which changes the tree, certainly.
It does. Oh, most definitely does. But the tree is not like becoming wild.
Sure, sure.
The tree is still the same old orange, but maybe it's not producing the fruit in the same way because now it's got another forest around it. So it only produces small fruit and flowers wherever it gets enough light. And now it's competing in a real traditional sense.
Interesting.
Yeah. So anyway, there you go. So they are not invasive as far as I can tell.
If most citrus is from Asia, why does the Asian citrus psyllid fuck them up so bad?
Love this. Great question. So that has everything to do with the genes we select through hybridity.
Hybridity?
Yes, through hybridization. Essentially, what we do is we have selected for fruit. We select for big, tasty, easily peelable fruit, that kind of thing. Inevitably, when we select for those kinds of traits, either big, beautiful flowers in the case of cherries or certain fruit in the case of citrus, what we are doing is selecting for genes that are really good for that one particular thing, the fruit, the flower.
Okay.
We are not selecting for genes that make it a little bit more resistant to disease or decay or some soil type or some other thing. So because of that, we have to help treat the tree and help keep it alive, because instead of putting literally any energy towards protection, it's putting all of its energy towards fruit production.
Okay.
So it's essentially just genes that are chosen for one thing at the expense of something else.
Okay, so the hybridization process, I guess, kind of like hobbles the tree, and makes it susceptible to things that it would usually be able to defend itself from.
Yes.
But since we have taken away those defenses in favor of bigger, tastier fruit, we have to use pesticides or whatever to protect.
That's exactly it. That is so perfect. So, of course, we would try to breed those two things together. But if you take some energy away from making this big fruit to put towards defense, then you're making smaller fruit. So that becomes something that's not as marketable, or maybe it's not as sweet, or maybe the rind is a little tougher, you know? So genes are things that we can select for, but it takes a really long time to put all those things together. And most of the time, the trees themselves aren't like trying to make the world's biggest fruit. They actually would prefer to make smaller fruit eaten by other things that spread the seed around, not necessarily this gigantic fruit that's way different. It's one of my biggest issues with apples, for example, is that they're just, too big.
The psyllid, does it go after like trees growing natively? I don't know their exact method or what the psyllid really does, but I know it's a huge issue. And also there's there's a couple other diseases that you can find in citrus fruit, but they most likely would burrow into or put their mouth parts into the orange or the leaves, and they would basically suck the juices out and cause like bacterial and fungus infections in the fruit, which makes the fruit all but useless because no one's going to eat it. So you can't sell it. So you have to have a perfect, unmarred fruit. It's just like every apple you've ever eaten or bought at the store, there's not a single wormhole in it. There's not a single blotch on it. That's unnatural as hell. I mean, that's just not how life works. So that is probably the invasive insect is causing damage and just making the fruit itself marred, so it's not saleable. Gotcha. Okay.
There you go.
Thank you, Heather. A little citrus talk there.
Wonderful. I adore the citrus triangle.
And like we said, if you have a question for us, if you want to support this podcast over our hiatus year, which we will still be in your ears every week, become a Treemium member. Arbortrarypod.supercast.com or go to arbortrarypod.com. Buy yourself a piece of very much discounted merch.
Yes, right now, 30% off 2 of our t-shirts.
Incredible.
And you can pre-order the other t-shirts if you missed that first run. We're doing a tree run sale.
Hell yeah. Arbortrarypod.com/merch. Casey, Clapp.
Alex Crowson, great work.
Thank you. You as well.
Thank you.
I am getting a little nervous getting toward the end here.
Yeah, you are.
I just don't, I want to make it special, but I also, it's sad. I don't know.
It's a bit of an end of an era, but I think we were talking earlier and you said, I just want this to feel like another season of Completely Arbortrary.
That's true, yeah.
And I think that's exactly the right way to look at it.
Yeah.
Because we're not leaving.
No.
We're going to be putting out new stuff. You're going to hear from us every week, just like you always have.
Yep.
And we're going to be doing kind of our side projects and telling you all about that at the same time.
Yeah.
So, I think hiatus, where we're just kind of saying, you know what, we're going to take some creative time to make sure that we can still produce a really good product. That's what's happening right now.
Yeah, which is a good thing.
I think so.
Nothing but good things.
Everything is good.
Everything's fine. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. Everything is fine.
If you keep telling yourself, it will be the case.
Yeah, but maybe not so forcefully. Maybe I should just be like, everything is fine.
There you go. Yeah, that's the way to do it. Alex started rubbing his chest at the same time. Yeah.
All right, everybody. We will see you next week with our penultimate episode of Completely Arbortrary. Bye-bye.
See ya. Completely Arbortrary is hosted by Casey Clapp and Alex Crowson.
Our music is by Aves and the Mini Vandals, and our artwork is by Jillian Barthold.
To support the podcast and get rewards in return, become a Treemium member at arbortrarypod.supercast.com.
Thanks for listening.